Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today we have another Lotto Lock Tuesday. This is another explanation video. I've seen them on other people's channels. I've done one too, so I've seen a couple of people do these with the 410s. I got these two 410s from BB Telpix when he sent me this Sergeant and Greenleaf to check out. And he was asking me some questions about the lottos because he's been trying to pick them. So I'm going to talk about them just a little bit and my approach to them. Everybody might have a little bit different approach. Remember, when you're locking these up, always counterclockwise so you don't end up with a disaster. So counterclockwise and lock it into there. Make sure that they are in. So first, my tools. I like the 0.4 millimeters from Multi-Pick. I got these three from Digsby Lock and Tool. Diggs on Discord and Reddit. A lot of people probably know him. He's made the Alpha Lock and some other things, but he also sells Multi-Pick. I don't know if he has them right now or not, but generally I like to use the medium hook, but I'm going to use the deeper hook today just to get through this a little bit quicker, I think, because I have picked these before. So I also like the SS Devs from Multi-Pick or from Sparrows. I've used those. I switched to these. I've bent a little bit, but I've got some new ones from Diggs that I've already ordered. But I'm going to use these until they fall apart. I just ordered them to make sure I had some. But the SS Devs in 0.015 work really well as well. My tension wrench is a top of the keyway. I got the top of the keyway set, the original set from Sparrows, and the thickest two I bent at about a 30-degree angle right at the end of the knurling. That works out well for me for my finger position when I'm picking padlocks, and that's what I use these two the most for. So how do I tension it? On the 410s, I put the tensioner all the way in as deep as it'll go, so that, you know, this little ledge is sitting right on the end there, and it's all the way in as deep as it'll go. And then I back it out a millimeter or two, just barely back it out. So if I back it out too far, it won't hold. It'll slip off because of that bevel. So I don't want to back it off a whole lot. Just want to barely back it off. It's kind of a balancing act between too deep and not deep enough. And then from there, I have a couple of different techniques. The first one I use on lottos most of the time is I'll just go down and on these 410s, I'll just go down and I'll press up on the pins and see how many clicks I can get and see if I can get any of the pins to set. Another technique I like to use on these and on Americans is I'll go to the back and I'll pull from the back to the front, and you can tell when a pin needs to be set because it doesn't move at all. The pin doesn't move out of your way. As you're pulling forward, if a pin is already set, or if it is able to lift up into the top chamber, then it'll kind of move out of your way, and you get to one that holds the pick, and you're like, okay, that one needs to be picked. It'll just bump into it and it won't move. You get underneath of it and give it a little lift, which is what I just did there with pin 1. Gave it a little lift and it put me into a false set. So now I know I've got number 5, because number 5 is a serrated pin. All the rest are spools. So I know that I don't have to work with number 5 anymore, because if it went into the false set, 5's out of my way. I just picked number 1. So I'm going to go back down the row here, feeling for pins. So I already got 1, trying to get underneath of, let me get my angle right here, trying to get underneath of 2. Nothing there on 2. Three, I push on it. There is no counter rotation, so I go to the next. And my pressure on this is super light, super light. I'm barely touching the thing. I'm just basically holding the tension wrench into place. So back to 3, 4, 5, get under 6, and I can actually feel number 6 moving. Oh, I just pushed too far. and dropped something else and got out of my false set. But I could actually feel when I touched pin 6. Try that again with pin 6 since I got back into my false set. There we go. I was slipping off the back of 6, so I had to get back underneath of it. But when I was touching pin 6, I could actually feel it in the tension wrench. As I was moving it, I could feel it was just like something was bumping my finger because I'm barely holding that in there. So once I touched 6, I was just running the pick across the end and I could feel it vibrate back through the tension wrench. So I knew that, you know, compared to one that was set where I didn't feel anything back in the tension wrench, when I got to 6, the vibration went all the way through the tension wrench. So let's try this one. This one, if I remember correct, I don't have to pick number 5. I should be right into spools. So I'm right into the false set. So pin 1, counter rotation, and got it. Pin 2, counter rotation. Pin 3, but there we go. Pin 3, counter rotation. I had to touch it again to get it to fall over. Pin 4. I'm going to skip pin 5 because I'm already into my counter rotation. I'm already into my false set. That means I don't have to mess with pin 5 because it's that serrated pin, so it's not in my way. And then there's 6 right there. So right down the line on that one. Kind of nice because I didn't have to pick pin 5, so everything else was a spool. And for me, spools are super easy because once I feel one, I just let the counter rotation, then just as soon as I hear the click or feel the click, I'm right over to stop it from going any further, pressing any further out. So that's my approach to them. Very, very light tension. And just, like I said, I can go down the road just touching all the pins and then looking for the ones giving me the most drag. Sometimes I'll get some small clicks out of them on the easy ones. And then the other technique is to come dragging back across. And if it doesn't move at all, then I'll give a little bit of a press on it and see if I can get it to go. But if it moves out of the way at all, that's probably one that I've already picked, or the spring is able to move and there's no binding on it. So till I get it into the false set, then when I do that and I touch the pin, I can actually feel the pin moving and giving me counter rotation, even just from touching it, because my pressure is so light on the tension wrench that just pulling the pick underneath of it causes the pin to go up and causes a little bit of counter rotation with it. So that's how light I'm holding it. And it's like not even holding a piece of paper. It's put it in, and yeah, I mean, I've seen that on Joe Picks. I think Chris Capoon did that before, where you just take your pick and it can run through. It's barely, I mean, it's barely holding in there, so it doesn't take much to knock the tension wrench out. Super light tension, and then that allows all the feedback from the pins to come back through to your tension wrench. That's all I got. Any questions, put them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. I think I covered everything. I know I've got another video on this that I've done, but that's my approach to the Lotto Lock. So have a good Lotto Lock Tuesday. Thanks for stopping by and have a great rest of your day.